Welcome to BioRatna. Dear students, last week we started with NEET 2024 batch. Students, BioRatna started its journey on YouTube since March 2022 on request from the NEET 2022 students for video lectures for genetics and biotechnology. Now that their exam is over, NEET 2022 is over, so I can be where I really want to. That is with the class 11th students. Because it is a complete 2-year journey. It is a complete 2-year journey. You need to start at the basics and BioRatna with the faith that it can make the difference in the student's life to achieve their goal. Started its batch 2024 last week. Chapter 1, The Living World, is already completed, students. Do go through it. Don't take any chapter as a very simple chapter. It is not. There are, even in the simple chapter, there are so many hidden questions which is discussed. You will find that in those video lectures. The whole chapter is covered in 4 video lectures. Do go through it. And today we are going to start with the second chapter, that is biological classification. The second chapter, biological classification, students often find it very difficult. It is considered as one of the most difficult chapters. Let us start with the chapter and then you tell me whether everything is easy for you or not. This biological classification, let us first relate it with the first chapter, that is living world. Always go on relating, students. This is if you have not seen that how to clear NEET 2024 in 2 years without any drop, please go through it. Because it is not just about studies, it is developing many habits. It is developing your attitude. Many things work together to make you a winner. One of it is going on relating while you are studying one chapter. Then you have to immediately relate it to any other point which you have come across already. So, in living world, you have seen that there are about 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms in the world which are discovered and named. These are the discovered ones. There are many which are yet to be discovered. But if we want to study, this is one very important your question. Na? This you have to remember that the discovered species number is 1.7 to 1.8 million. So if we want to study this, is it possible? No. So we have to group them according to their characters. We have to make different taxa, different categories. This you have seen in living world. That's why we do classification. So here we come to biological classification. Now first we will see the complete history of classification, and this is one very important topic from which many questions have been asked in NEET and in your board exams also. So first we will see about the early man. Early man. Do you think that early man, he didn't do any classification? Do you think, students, that it is just us that we started with all this taxonomy and everything? No, it is not so. Means early man, he also did classification, but in very simple way. He did it according to his needs. It was his need-based classification. Means whether the three needs of human beings, the three needs are the roti kapda makan one, that is food, shelter and clothing. So his classification was based on whether this organism can provide me food, or it can provide me shelter, or it can provide me clothing. That means this was need based. This was need based, based on this criteria, that how useful it is for me. Next comes, now come to Aristotle. He for the first time makes an attempt of scientific classification. So his attempt is towards a more scientific basis of classification. More scientific basis of classification. We are using one word, more scientific. This more itself is telling you that this is not adequate. This is not incorrect. Incorrect nahi hai. According to the simple life of that time, and the technology was also not that developed like today. So whatever they had in their hands, accordingly they classified. How he is classifying? For example, Aristotle, he classified plants into three groups. One is herb, one is shrub, and one is tree. You can say that this is on the basis of height. एकदम छोटे plants, medium sized plants और बड़े tree. But is this classification proper? Are all the trees belong to the same? Do all the trees belong to the same group? Do all the shrubs, all the herbs fall under the same group? No. Or he classifies them according to habitat. Habitat पे कैसे करेगा? यहाँ लिखते यहीं पे लिखते हैं ना. According to habitat, now he is classifying organisms into terrestrial, कि हाँ ये जमीन पे रहते हैं, या उड़ने वाले, that is aerial, या aquatic. Here also you can see कि all aquatic, सारे जमीन पे रहने वाले, सारे पानी वाले, are they all same? Look around. The cat, you will find cat, you find dog, you find yourself, you find so many animals, you find so many plants. So they are not, you cannot put them all together in one group. This is too simple a classification. So it is called artificial classification. Artificial classification. Artificial means different, means those organisms which are not related, they come together into one group because of consideration of too simple a character as a basis of classification. एक एक पॉइंट देखते जाइए बच्चे, लास्ट तक पहुंच जाइए और देखते जाइए कि क्या कोई हार्ड लग रहा है. कभी भी कोई भी चैप्टर ऐसा मत रखिए दिमाग में कि जो आपके दिमाग में कोई लोचा पैदा करे कि अरे बाप रे, वो एक बायोलॉजिकल क्लासिफिकेशन नाम का चैप्टर था ना. अर्ली मैन आसान है. नाउ यू कम टू एरिस्टोटल. एरिस्टोटल ने एनिमल्स को भी क्लासिफाई किया था. तो हाउ ही क्लासिफाइड एनिमल्स के उसने क्लासिफाई किया था दोज विच हैव रेड blood and those which do not have no red blood. Means this is also one observation, simple observation, कि अच्छा ये organism को injury हो रही है, he can see that red blood coming out. Another organism is injured, he cannot see any red blood coming out. So accordingly he classified, but this too is a very, very simple type of classification. So there is need for a different approach. So now comes Carolus Linnaeus with his two kingdom classification. Let us see. Now come to the two kingdom classification. This two kingdom classification, students, it is by whom? This two kingdom classification, all of you know that. That is Carolus, but where you make mistake, that is the spelling of Linnaeus. Carolus, Linnaeus. So remember it this way, Linna, E and us. Break it into three parts. Otherwise, this is going to create problem in your class 11th school exams. You are going to clear all your exams in the school exams, the final exams, the board exam, and ultimately you are going to clear with your NEET with flashing colors. So you need to take care of everything. I repeat, everything. So this is Carolus Linnaeus. He classified the living organisms into two. That is, one is Plantae and another is Animalia. This he did on very easily observable character. Anyone can look around and say that, okay, this one belongs to Plantae and this one belongs to Animalia. Mainly, this was based on two characters, that is, one is locomotion, whether the organism can locomote or not, and the other was presence or absence of cell wall. So he formed two groups, but then the need was again felt that this is inappropriate, not incorrect. This is also inappropriate and we need to include many more other aspects also. Like other aspects like cell type, then the nutrition, then reproduction, then its habitat. Habitat हमेशा पहले लिखते हैं ना बच्चे, that's why I'm writing at the top. Habitat, cell type, nutrition, reproduction. Then the most important, another which arranges them in proper evolutionary order, that is evolutionary relationship. So this need was felt कि we have to take many more aspects so as to make the classification a proper one. ये तो याद रखना पड़ेगा. इसे कैसे याद रखोगे? Habitat जहाँ वो रहता है, खाना खाता है, reproduction कैसे करता है, उसका evolutionary relationship क्या है? Its evolutionary relationship, reproduction, nutrition, habitat and its cell type. Very important कि cell type क्या है? Whether it is prokaryotic or eukaryotic, whether it is unicellular or multicellular, don't you think these two are very important characteristics? So these points are also considered. The scientists, the taxonomists, they start working on it, and then we come across the three kingdom classification. This three kingdom classification, it was given by Haeckel. It was given by Haeckel. You need not learn the year in which it was given. And this three kingdom classification, four kingdom classification is not given in your NCERT students. It is not given. But this is also one point I discussed in this how you have to clear in 2024. There you have to develop this habit. This is a guided question. Guided matlab, if two kingdom classification is discussed and then we are discussing five kingdom classification, then it should click to the student that is there three kingdom, four kingdom classification, or from two kingdom it was just a jump to five kingdom classification. किसी ने अचानक से five kingdom में classify किया. No, it is not so. It was this Haeckel who introduced, which group he introduced, this was Protista. अभी के Protista जैसा नहीं था वो. In this Protista, what he did, only his the basis which he considered, लेट अस रिमेंबर दैट. हम क्या रिमेंबर, हम 3 चीजें याद रख रहे हैं बच्चों 3 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन में. वन इज द नेम of the taxonomist, that is Haeckel. The kingdom which he introduced, that is Protista, and his basis was all those organisms from, ये 2 तो classification था ही, Plantae and Animalia. From them he is taking out the organisms which do not show differentiation of tissues. कैसे? Like algae, like fungi, like protozoa, which do not have the differentiation of tissue. He included all of this in Protista. Afterwards, in this Protista group, only the unicellular eukaryotes were placed. Only unicellular eukaryotes were placed, जैसा अभी भी है. ठीक है, these were placed and others were removed, and fungi is back to pavilion, that is Plantae. So इसे याद रखा आपने, जिनके पास टिश्यू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, टिश्यू डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं है. ये आपको एल्गी, फंजाई, प्रोटोजुआ, these 3 were placed by Haeckel in Protista. Now see the 4 kingdom classification. So this 4 kingdom यहाँ लिख दे. This 4 kingdom classification, it was given by Copeland. इसने क्या किया? See, there are organisms which are unicellular and which are prokaryotic. Means क्या prokaryote, to be a prokaryote is such an important point कि those which are having the nuclear membrane around them are those which are not having. तो only those organisms which are prokaryotes, उन सबको उसने बाहर निकाला. They were all this group is Monera. He introduced the group Monera on the basis of 2 characters. Now this is, one is they are all unicellular and they are all prokaryotes. This is Monera. Copeland. याद हो रहे हैं? कहीं पीछे छूटते जा रहे हो? लिनियस का यहाँ तक तो इट वॉज चाइल्ड्स प्ले बच्चा, प्लांटी एंड एनिमेलिया. फिर यहाँ से क्वेश्चन तो नहीं पूछेगा कि ओके कि फिर कौन से दूसरे एस्पेक्ट्स की नीड महसूस हुई. बट आप जब कुछ नहीं छोड़ते हो ना, तब आप और फास्ट पढ़ाई करते हो. जब आपकी हर चीज पे पकड़ बैठती जाती है ना बच्चे, तब आप ऐसे छोड़ के पढ़ने से काम नहीं बनता है, क्योंकि फिर आपकी लिंक नहीं बनती है कि व्हाट वाज द नीड, क्यों फर्दर दूसरा काम किया गया. देन एवरीथिंग गेट्स कनेक्टेड, आपके ब्रेन में वो लिंक अप होते जाता है. तो ये आपने याद किया. देन द 3 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन वाज बाय Haeckel. He introduced Protista and he introduced those organisms which do not show tissue differentiation. These were algae, fungi, protozoa. बाद में इसमें सिर्फ यूनिसेल्यूलर यूकैरियोट्स को रखा गया. This was unicellular eukaryotes, जो अभी भी है. फिर कोपलैंड ने आके एक काम किया कि भैया द यूनिसेल्यूलर प्रोकैरियोट्स को सारे एक जगह कर दिया जाए. सो दैट इज अ ग्रुप, दैट इज द सिंपलेस्ट वन, दैट इज मोनेरा. यहाँ पे आपको 2 PYQs मिल रहे हैं ना, एक ये हेकेल का और एक ये कोपलैंड का. रिमेंबर दिस वन. नाउ वी मूव टू 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन बाय RH Whittaker. नाउ इट इज द 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन. किसने दिया था? 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन. You have to remember the year also, because it is given in NCERT. So prospective, a neat question. So 5 kingdom classification was given by RH Whittaker in the year 1969. 1969. Remember that. Now we are going to study one table, the criteria which he considered for classification into this 5 kingdom classification. Each point in that is a prospective, your NEET question. There are many PYQs there, and so you have to learn the table, you have to learn everything carefully. So say, this is first we write the character, this is the character column, and this is the kingdom column, the kingdoms. Then the kingdoms are 5. So when they are 5, so naturally you are going to write the 5 kingdoms. First is Monera, then Protista, then comes Fungi, then comes Plantae, and your Animalia. Not plant and animal, not plant and animal. This is Plantae and Animalia. There is no clash between your this 11th 12th exams and your NEET exam, bache. The same thing you are learning. The most important it is to be very regular from the very first day. That is the most important thing. अब देखते हैं हम लोग character. So the first character is cell type. This is cell type. क्या cell का type है? अभी पढ़ा था बच्चे, ये सारे के सारे प्रोटिस्टा से लेके एनिमलिया तक all are eukaryotes. So this is eukaryote, this is eukaryote, this also eukaryote, this also eukaryote. चारों के चारों हो तो क्या eukaryotes. And this only Monera, it is prokaryote. Now it is cell wall. Now it is cell wall. In Monera, cell wall is present. Present के लिए एक टिक लगाते हैं. And it is made up of peptidoglycan. It is made up of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan मतलब it is made up of carbohydrate and amino acids also. Amino acid भी है, that's why this peptido word is there, and sugar is also there, so glycan word is there. This is peptidoglycan. Now come to Protista. In Protista group कैसे बना? In Protista, पहले तो only Plantae and Animalia groups were there. So while forming the Protista from Plantae and Animalia, the unicellular organisms having which were eukaryotes. ये group देखो. Back to Monera. Unicellular prokaryotic था. These two both are unicellular. बाकी सारे multicellular है ना. तो ये इसमें unicellular eukaryotes को जब जमा किया, when they are taken out from Plantae, that means they are having cell wall. They are taken out from Animalia, so they are not having cell wall. So some have cell wall and some do not have cell wall. किसी किसी में cell wall है, जैसे diatoms, they do have the cell wall. डाइनोफ्लैजेलेट्स, अभी ये नाम याद नहीं होंगे, अभी तुरंत होंगे, अभी हम लोग प्रोटिस्टा डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे एट दैट टाइम. डाइएटम्स, देन द डाइनोफ्लैजेलेट्स, दे हैव द सेल वॉल, एंड दोज विच वेर टेकन आउट फ्रॉम एनिमल्स उसमें नहीं है, जैसे प्रोटोजोआ में नहीं है, जो योर अमीबा एंड पैरामीशियम एक्सेट्रा. देन द स्लाइम मोल्ड्स, स्लाइम मोल्ड, दे ऑल्सो डू नॉट हैव सेल वॉल. ठीक है. नाउ कम टू फंजाई. फंजाई हैव सेल वॉल, तभी तो रखा गया था और उसका स्ट्रक्चर भी ऐसा था कि इट वॉज केप्ट इन प्लांटे, बट इट्स केमिकल कंपोजिशन इज टोटली डिफरेंट एंड इट इज मेड अप ऑफ काइटिन. सो फंगल सेल वॉल इज मेड अप ऑफ काइटिन. ठीक है. नाउ कम टू प्लांटे. प्लांटे तो यू नो, ये आपके लिए सबसे आसान है. दे हैव सेल वॉल एंड दे आर मेड अप ऑफ सेल्यूलोज. ये तो आप बहुत अच्छे से जानते हो. एंड एनिमलिया, दिस ऑल्सो यू नो दैट दे डू नॉट हैव सेल वॉल, तो कंपोजिशन का तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं आता. तो ये दोनों कैरेक्टर हो गए. नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट, दैट इज न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन. I don't know why this point is given here, because this cell type and the nuclear membrane both are the same. So nuclear membrane, so it is in Monera it is absent, that's why it is called prokaryote, na? And all these four groups, they are having the nuclear membrane. Done. Next, it is body organization. In body organization, बच्चों आपको ये लिखना है कि ये यूनिसेल्युलर है या मल्टीसेल्युलर है. If it is multicellular, then if the organization is tissue level, organ level or organ system level, इसमें कोई मुश्किल है? The unicellular, you already know that the Monera, they are unicellular. The Protista, they are unicellular. Fungi, Plantae, Animalia, all are multicellular. But this fungi, this is multicellular and it has tissue level of organization. यहाँ पे ये रुक गया. It has tissue level of organization. In Plantae, it is tissue, organ भी होता है, organ system तो नहीं होता. This has organ level of organization. Whereas Animalia, you know that the animals, they have organ system. We have respiratory system, digestive system, सारे systems है हम में ना. So we have tissue, organ also and organ system also. Organ system. Fine. Now the last, very important, that is nutrition. अब ये nutrition जो है, so this nutrition, the most diverse type, कई तरह का, that is shown in case of Monera. Means this is a PYQ, very often asked, important PYQ. So this is in which group the most diverse type of metabolism, the most diverse nutrition takes place. Monera में जैसे it is autotrophic also and heterotrophic also. जैसे plant है only autotrophic, that too only photosynthetic. But here it is autotrophic, it may be chemotropic, it may be phototropic. दोनों है ये. केमिकल की मदद से एनर्जी या सूरज से एनर्जी, बोथ इट कैन टेक. नाउ कम टू हेट्रोट्रोपिक. हेट्रोट्रोपिक में भी ये कई तरह से अपना सैप्रोफाइटिक, दिस पैरासाइटिक, सारे मोड ये दिखाता है. सो इफ इट इज हेट्रोट्रोपिक, इफ इट इज हेटेरोट्रोपिक, दैट मीन्स इट इज नॉट ऑटोट्रोपिक, इट कैन नॉट मेक इट्स ओन फूड. तो जब ये अपना खाना नहीं बनाता है, देन इट एंटर्स अदर बॉडी. तो दूसरे में जब ये जाता है, देन इट मे बी यूजफुल और इट मे बी हार्मफुल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द लैक्टिक एसिड बैक्टीरिया, दैट इज यूजफुल, whereas the typhoid causing, cholera causing, वो हेटेरोट्रोप्स है. वो अपना न्यूट्रिशन लेने हमारी बॉडी में आए और हमें हार्म करके चले गए. सो दे आर हार्मफुल, यूजफुल एज वेल. सो मोनेरा इज शोइंग ऑटोट्रोपिक, हेटेरोट्रोपिक एंड डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ऑटोट्रोपिज्म एंड हेटेरोट्रोपिज्म ऑल्सो. Protista, you know, were taken out from Plantae and Animalia. So naturally it has to be either it is some are autotropic and some are heterotropic. That only one point you remember, that some were taken from Plantae, some from Animalia. Fungi are heterotropic, of course. Fungi are heterotropic, that too they may be saprophytic, they may be parasitic, etc. Examples I am not giving here. एग्जाम्पल आपको फंजाई पढ़ाते समय इसके सारे एग्जाम्पल्स फंजाई के मिल जाएंगे. अभी इसे याद कीजिए, जैसे दिया हुआ है टेबल में, इसे याद कीजिए, इस पे मास्टरी कीजिए. एग्जाम्पल्स वी विल लर्न अभी जस्ट आफ्टर दिस. वी विल वन सेशन विल बी ऑन मोनेरा, वन विल बी प्रोटिस्टा एंड देन नेक्स्ट विल बी फंजाई. So fungi are heterotropic. Plantae, you know, they are autotrophic and they are photoautotropic. सनलाइट की मदद से करते हैं ना. और एनिमेलिया, they are heterotropic. They are heterotropic. They are dependent on plants directly or indirectly for their food. तो ये हो गए आपके व्हिटेकर के क्लासिफिकेशन. एंड इफ यू थिंक दैट ही हैज टेकन ओनली दिस 5 पॉइंट इनटू कंसिडरेशन, ही हैज नॉट. ही हैज आल्सो टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन द रिप्रोडक्शन. ये थ्योरी में दिया हुआ है बच्चों, ये टेबल में नहीं दिया हुआ है. बट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर दिस. अभी अगर आपको पूछता है ना कि which of out of 4 1 will be wrong, which of this is not the criteria taken by Whittaker. So reproduction was considered by him. Reproduction and the evolutionary relationship. Evolutionary relationship. These two were also considered. So all these points were considered by R.H. Whittaker. We will also study that R.H. Whittaker, first we see कि क्या ये 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन ही लास्ट है या कोई और भी किंगडम है. देन वी विल सी कि R.H. Whittaker के 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन में 2 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन के अर्लियर क्लासिफिकेशन के कौन कौन से एनामोलीज को हटाया है. दैट इज ऑल्सो वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट योर नीट क्वेश्चंस you will get from there. Now 2 more things we have to do. One is the 6 kingdom classification and 3 domains, and this 5 kingdom classification, how it removed the anomalies of previous classification. कौन सा करें पहले? When we are at 5 kingdom classification, तो उस let us do that only ना, that let us do that. 5 kingdom classification, how it removed the anomalies, how it removed the anomalies of the previous classification. That is the question. Fine. Now the first one. Previously, students, many dissimilar groups, they were grouped into plantae. Like one is bacteria, then it is blue-green algae, then fungi, moss, fern, gymnosperms and angiosperms. And angiosperms, they were all grouped together into plantae, kingdom plantae. Do you find this list too long? Difficult to learn? It is not so. Just see these 4 group: moss, fern, gymno, angiosperms. इतने तो आपने 9th में भी पढ़े हैं. 9th was very difficult for you, I understand. लेकिन कहीं पर एक दिमाग में थोड़ा सा रह गया होगा ना, और अभी हम उसको ठोस बनाते हैं. See, the plantae, it has now it has 5 groups. One is thallophyta, one is bryophyta, then pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So this thallophyta, they are the algae group. This moss, it is the bryophyte. Fern, it is pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm. ये अभी भी है plantae में. बचे कौन? This bacteria, this blue-green algae and this fungi. Now just see the anomaly, students. Just see the anomaly, how different they are from each other. These fungi, this plantae, you know that they are all autotrophic. All plants, they are all autotrophic. And at the same time, the plantae in their cell wall, they have cellulose. They have cellulosic cell wall. Whereas in case of fungi, these fungi are heterotrophic. They are heterotrophic and they have chitin in their cell wall. See? Now this fungi, it was removed from there. Fungi made a separate kingdom. वहाँ से सिर्फ अलग ही उसे नहीं किया. It was made into a separate kingdom itself. Separate kingdom. Kingdom fungi. और किसी के साथ वो नहीं बैठता है. Now come to this blue-green algae. Blue-green algae, it is unicellular and it is prokaryotic. Unicellular prokaryotic, and it is placed together with multicellular eukaryotic. So these blue-green algae were now kept into, किस में रखते हैं हम लोग यूनिसेल्यूलर और प्रोकैरियोट्स को? So this blue green algae, they were kept in Monera and now they are called Cyanobacteria. The bacteria, blue green algae, both unicellular, both prokaryotic, so they are kept in so they are kept under Monera. So this blue green algae, it is now called Cyanobacteria. Done. यहाँ की एनोमॉली देख ली हमने. नाउ कम टू नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. यहाँ पे क्या है? देर इज वन यूनिसेल्यूलर यूकैरियोटिक क्लैमाइडोमोनास. Clamidomonas. What is it? It is unicellular and it is eukaryotic. Yes, it is eukaryotic. And there is one Spirogyra. The Spirogyra is multicellular. It is multicellular and it is eukaryotic. And both are placed in algae. They both were placed in algae. ठीक है. Now this 5 kingdom classification वो क्या करता है? When this Protista group was a bit different पहले ना, पहले तो different था. फिर प्रोटिस्टा में हमने सिर्फ यूनिसेल्यूलर यूकैरियोटिक ऐड किए. प्रोटिस्टा में हमने यूनिसेल्यूलर यूकैरियोट्स ऐड किए, तो नेचुरली हम इस क्लैमाइडोमोनास को यहाँ ला सकते हैं. सो इन प्रोटिस्टा द फ्यू फ्रॉम प्लांटी, फ्यू फ्रॉम एनिमलिया, ऐसे लेके ये प्रोटिस्टा ग्रुप बनाना. प्रीवियसली देयर वेर ओनली 2 ग्रुप्स, प्लांटी, एनिमलिया. वो दोनों ग्रुप वैसे ही रह जाते हैं बच्चों. देयर आर क्रिएटेड 3 more kingdoms. Now this Protista, it has some from Plantae and some from Animalia. दोनों ग्रुप से इसके पास है. जैसे प्लांटी में अगर हम देखते हैं ना, प्लांटी से इसके पास कौन आया है? तो प्लांटी से हम ये क्लैमाइडोमोनास, दिस क्लैमाइडोमोनास एंड क्लोरेला. पहले ये कहाँ था, बाद में ये कहाँ गया? समझ रहे हो? सारे आपके नीट के क्वेश्चन है. क्लोरेला पहले कहाँ था, बाद में उसे कौन से ग्रुप में ले जाया गया? तो उसे प्रोटिस्टा में ले गए. नाउ दिस एनिमलिया में दिस अमीबा वाज देयर, अमीबा एंड पैरामीशियम. दिस अमीबा एंड पैरामीशियम, both of them, they are unicellular. Both are unicellular, both are eukaryotic, so they are placed under Protista. This is how the anomaly was removed. So you see that there is a gradual change in the way we think, we understand the things. Previously the taxonomists, they understood it in much simpler way. Then we felt the need to see it include many other criteria also for classification so that it is a proper one. And now we have come to this 5 kingdom classification and we are going to see the 6 kingdom classification by Woese. Now come to the last. Fine. This is the 6 kingdom classification. This is 6 kingdom classification and 3 domains by Carl Woese. You have to remember the name, na? Who gave the 6 kingdom classification. So what he did, how many we are having now? 5, na? One is this Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. What Woese did was he divided Monera into 2 other kingdoms. One was Archaebacteria and another was Eubacteria or true bacteria. The Archaebacteria means ancient bacteria and Eubacteria is true bacteria. So how many kingdoms now? This is 1, this is 2 and this 4. 2 are formed by breaking the same Monera. Then there are 3 domains are formed. Now, 3 domains are formed. These 3 domains, they are, one is bacteria, one is archaea, and one is eukarya. This bacteria, it consists of Monera. This one it is consisting. This one bacteria, it consists of eubacteria. This is containing the, this is domain, this is domain, this is domain, this is domain. These 3 are domain. Domain bacteria is having the kingdom eubacteria. This archaea, it is having the kingdom archaebacteria. And this eukarya, it is having the these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Thus there are 6 kingdom and 3 domains abhi present mein. This doesn't mean that our journey stops here. पहले से हम लोग अभी better understand कर रहे हैं, better हमने उसे plan करके better way में बनाया हुआ है. But now again with time our understanding will change and it is now up to you students. फिर आप लोग उसे और अच्छा बनाओगे, बढ़िया classification बनाओगे. Fine. So this was the classification की complete history, starting from early man, Aristotle, Linnaeus, then Haeckel, Copeland and Whittaker, and which ends in Woese. I hope this was useful to you. इसके points जो है just knowledge based लगते हैं ना, fact based, तो थोड़े इसे समझने में मतलब याद रखने में शायद थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम हो. जो आप आपस में बातें करते हुए या अपने छोटे भाई से, मदर से किसी को समझाने के, इससे आप खुद टीचर बन के उसे प्रैक्टिस कीजिए बिना देखे हुए. टीचर स्टूडेंट प्ले कीजिए अपने भाई के साथ, फ्रेंड के साथ, मदर के साथ बैठ के कीजिए. दैट विल हेल्प यू इमेंसली. एंड द फ्लैश कार्ड इम्पोर्टेंस यू नो वेरी वेल, and the sticky notes also. Stay tuned. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe and share and like. Thank you for watching the video. Next we will start with Monera.